As well as mass surveillance, there is also what you could call active surveillance or simply hacking. Tools can be installed using the same type of malicious malware and spyware used by cybercriminals onto your machine or phone if you are a target. Tools for passive and active surveillance are sold by security companies to governments if the governments don't develop them themselves, or even if they do, if they want to buy extra tools. There is a large and very active market in such tools, and when the hacking team group was hacked themselves, it was revealed that they were doing that. Let me introduce you to the ANT catalogue to give you an idea of the sort of tools that governments and any well-resourced threat agent have available to them. The ANT catalogue is a leaked document of the NSA's hacking and spying toolset circa around 2008. So first, let's discuss a passive RF retro ultra-high frequency reflector. And if we go down here, I can show you one. And there we are. These can be extremely small electronic devices that need only microamps of power, or in some cases need no power at all, meaning that they can remain active for years. They don't radiate any RF energy, so bug sweeping like you see in the movies doesn't work. They can also be made with commercially off-the-shelf electronics, making them untraceable. One such example is codenamed Loud Auto, which is basically an audio listening bug. And we can see here, audio-based RF retro reflector provides room audio from targeted space using radar and basic post-processing. So what that means is, in order to listen to this device, a person needs to be at a distance somewhere and then send a focused beam of radio frequency energy targeted at that retro reflector. They are then able to listen to the room's audio. The device is only active when it re-radiates back to the sender, otherwise it's totally passive, radiates no RF, so undetectable, and uses virtually no power. These retro reflectors can be used for all sorts of interesting things. Let me show you something else. So if we look here under keyboards, Data RF retro reflector provides return modulated with target data keyboard low data rate digital device when illuminated with radar. So this is installed in a keyboard. An observer pointing one of those focus beams of radio frequency energy targeted at the reflector will be able to record all of the keystrokes on the keyboard. Again, passive, radiates no RF, so undetectable, and uses virtually no power. And there's also RageMaster. RF retro reflector that provides an enhanced radar cross-section for vagrant collection. It's concealed in a standard computer video graphics array VGA cable, which you can see there, between the video card and video monitor. It's typically installed in the ferrite on the video cable. So they can watch what you're doing on your monitor. Again, you can see how tiny this thing is. Passive, radiates no RF, so undetectable, and uses virtually no power. Obviously, these things need to be installed, and this process is called interdiction, which means the devices are placed in physically before you get them or after. But even if you're not a target of specific interdiction, you are a target of general interdiction. So for example, there is JetPlow, which is here. JetPlow is a firmware persistent implant for Cisco PIX series and ASA firewalls. It persists DNT banana glue software implant. JetPlow also has a persistent backdoor capability. DNT, by the way, is a contractor to the NSA that provides other hacking tools. If you're not aware, firmware is a physical chip on the device. So in this case, it's a physical chip on this router or firewall. Firmware persistence means it will survive a reinstall of the operating system. It can be considered a firmware rootkit. So what this is showing us here is documented evidence that Cisco and Juniper devices, which are really the backbone of the internet that we use, are compromised. and will be used for surveillance. If you're wondering about the strange code names, 2 letters are assigned to a project randomly, like BG, and then a human creates a name, so you end up with Bananagly or something strange like that. But strange names like that do help people remember them. Let's have a look at some of the other interesting ones. So here we have Nightstand, an active 802.11 wireless exploitation injection tool. So that's Wi-Fi for payload exploit delivery into otherwise denied target space. Nightstand is typically used in operations where wired access to the target is not possible. So that's basically a Wi-Fi cracker. And interestingly, leaked emails have exposed plans by a hacking team and a Boeing subsidiary to deliver spyware via drones for sale to government agencies, which would essentially be this device on a drone. So there are ways to counter this though, which we'll go through as part of the course. Another interesting one is Irate Monk. Irate Monk provides software application persistence on desktop and laptop computers by implanting the hard drive firmware to gain execution through master boot record substitution. Again, that means total persistence. So if they get access to, or if this is installed on your machine, then formatting the hard drive, reinstalling the operating system, none of that's going to help. None of it's going to shift it. It's going to be virtually impossible to detect. The only thing that would work in this case would be to actually throw the hard disk away. But obviously, if they have tools like this that are implanted in the firmware of the motherboard, then you'd have to throw your entire computer away to get rid of this type of malware. Another interesting one is Monkey Calendar. Which is here. And this is actually a SIM card. So you may not be aware, but SIM cards can actually issue commands to your handset. So this is a SIM card that issues commands to your handset and then sends out SMS messages informing what you're doing and your location and whatever else other information that they desire. And the last one that I'm going to show you that's interesting is Candygram. Mixed GSM cell tower of a target network capable of operations at 900, 1800 or 1900 megahertz. Whenever a target handset enters the Candygram base station's area of influence, the system sends out an SMS through the external network to registered watch phones. So this is a fake base station. They will set up as Vodafone and then monitor and track you and hack you through it. And these are from circa 2008, 2009. Imagine what they might have now. If your government is an active threat agent to you, or anyone of sufficient means, motive and opportunity, then I hope you can see that if you are a target, the only way to be anonymous online is to be anonymous offline as well. And we'll talk more about this later as we go through the course. You can see that there are also hobbyists who are recreating these tools based on what they've seen, and we're also working on similar tools. So here you can see here is a Wi-Fi hacker. You have retro reflectors, active radio injection, hardware implants, passive radio interception. So there's no reason why highly resourced criminal organizations and hacking groups won't be utilizing such tools going forward. For further information on NSA and 14i spying, check out the video Through a Prism Darkly. For general information on CIA hacking tools, look at WikiLeaks Vault 7 and 8, and generally look at WikiLeaks for government spying type information. The Intercept is also a good place for scoops from time to time on information about what's going on in terms of government spying. Note, use good judgment with all these resources I'm pointing to. to evaluate what you read, though. Some will be true, some speculative, and some just inaccurate. And to conclude, there's no secret at all that well-resourced governments are spying and hacking on everybody to gather intel. There have been leaks about the likes of the US and the UK, but countries like Russia, we haven't seen many leaks yet, but they are engaging in serious cyber warfare against their adversaries, the US, the UK, the Ukraine, and messing around with elections. Our governments are in a cyber war that seems to be getting more and more heated, and us citizens are in the middle of it.